This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
Takes 9.8 seconds, and I'm done.
On 1620, The Zone.
Amazing Daniel.
Yes.
Tweeting in, he says, your new Monday Night Football play-by-play announcer, Kevin. And it's Kevin from The Office. That'd be pretty cool. Go to the booth. It's Kevin.
It's Kevin. Just
Kevin.
Kevin. So, we were talking earlier this week about, is it possible that when, venues start to open up a little bit more, the possibility of proof of vaccine being a requirement to be admitted to a game. And now that's not obviously going to be the case with the Nebraska sports that are coming back, the spring game, baseball, softball. But you do wonder if at some point to fully open up, to fully go back and have, unlimited capacity, or at least, 100%, if the utilization of vaccine cards might be necessary. And we were kind of just spitballing it. Well, in Las Vegas, the president of the Golden Knights, the NHL team, said that you may need to show proof of vaccination to get into a hockey game. Mm-hmm. It's something that's on their table. I mean, they've talked about it. Mm-hmm. We're not sure they're not sure yet if they're going to go through with it, but the idea is out there.
Yeah.
And, don't be surprised if that is the case, at least in some places. I would predict, just kind of based on the climate around these parts, that you're probably not going to see those types of things around here. But if you're traveling to other places, other venues, other states,
other countries,
it certainly is possible.
Yeah, when this came up the other day, somebody sent me a screenshot. It looks like it's from Southwest Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
That says, re-entry to the U.S. Passengers traveling from an international destination will require proof and verification of a negative COVID-19 test obtained within 3 days of travel. Now, obviously, that does not mention a vaccine, but I'm guessing that we are going to get into a spot where something like that will be required. Not at everything, like you said. I would be stunned if we saw this, especially at like low-level high school games or Little League games. But you do wonder about some colleges and certainly the professional ranks. A temperature taken at the door. First of all, it can only do so much. Second of all, it's also going to slow things down a ton. I know in other countries, I was listening to a podcast a couple weeks ago, a lot of it's built into your phone. There's an app on your phone where they scan it, and it lets them know that you've actually had the vaccine. And so I wonder, especially as tickets have already started moving paperless over the last handful of years, you wonder if someone, if they're not already doing it, will try to develop an app where you could have a ticket and a proof of either, hey, I tested negative yesterday, I tested negative, or I had the COVID vaccination already, whatever it is. Because, I mean, we've been in long lines getting into stadiums. They're going to want that thing streamlined as well as possible. And, I do wonder if once we get back to full capacity, if there's going to be almost a training wheel situation of figuring it out, like, oh, that's right, it takes this long to get in, and I have to show up this early just to make sure I get to my seat in time. Look, as I mentioned, on the show, I've gotten my first shot. I'm getting my second shot next week. I don't hate the idea of it in theory requiring vaccinations. The problem, though, right now is, let's pretend that they did this for the spring game. Let's just pretend. They won't, but let's pretend they did. In this state, that opens up a whole host of problems because right now you have to be, I believe now they lowered the restrictions for 55 and over. Now, there are some counties around Nebraska that are allowing adults to do so, but at least in Douglas, in Lancaster where you live, it's 55 and older unless you're lucky and can stumble upon one elsewhere. So that's a whole host of the population. What is it like in all the communities around Nebraska and around the country, in communities that don't have the money? Is that even possible? Or are you essentially disallowing a huge group of people to no fault of their own? It's one thing to say, I don't want the vaccine. It's another to say, I want the vaccine, but I can't get it where I live.
Right. Well, and I think that what we're talking about here is this would probably be something that would be instituted once facilities and sporting events open up to full capacity. Right now, they're still doing the restricted thing with so many percentage of fans and masks and all the other stuff. But this, I would guess that ideas like this would only go into effect, A, once the vaccine has been readily distributed to all age groups, and B, once facilities and sports are open up to full capacity. Then you might see, because you're right. I mean, if they did it today, half your population's not able to go to events because they haven't been eligible for the vaccine.
Yeah.
So that's why you're still seeing the attendance restrictions or no attendance at all at some events. But it's kind of after we get the vaccine through the system, if you will, and then start to open everything up fully, 100%, where ideas like this may eventually be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it'll be case by case, state by state, health district by health district.
And certainly
and
event by event. Who's running the event, what type of event it is, all those types of things, yeah.
Sure.
Johnny Pig says, how can personal health records be used for entrance to an event? Wouldn't that have HIPAA concerns?
Well,
how would a
and
team like Nebraska be able to adhere to those?
And that's another thing. I mean, heck, we've argued for ever and ever about, identification cards, national identification cards. And that, that's been argued, based on, illegal immigration. And so, yeah, you're adding medical and HIPAA and all the other stuff. I mean, essentially, if you're talking about putting in an app on your phone or having the vaccination card, in a way, it's kind of like having an identification card. You have to prove something in order to get in. And so you're really all going down that same path of debates that we've had in this country forever.
Now,
and that has been fought by every side for every reason forever.
Won't the argument that those organizations make is, hey, that's fine if you don't want to give it to us, you just can't come to our event?
But it'd be another thing. That may be true.
We don't allow you to bring a gun in here, so why can't we control if you have the COVID vaccine?
But if you're a,
and I'm just wondering if that would be the argument.
If you're a sports league, if you're a franchise owner, you're Daniel Snyder. Congratulations. You would, if something like that were going to happen, you would much rather that everyone has to play by the same rules. In other words, the state would decide versus you going out on your own and trying to do that. I don't know if you're going to have a whole lot of people in a highly competitive world for whatever your intentions are. If you hamstring yourself by saying, no, we're going to require this for our event, but the event across the street's not doing it, then you're losing business. So you'd much rather, as the owner, say, hey, it's not our choice. The state says this is what we have to do. And thus everyone's playing by the same rules. Because we've seen here in the Big Ten, just the idea that Nebraska could make a few extra bucks because they have greater attendance for certain events, the Big Ten drug their feet forever on getting attendance back. And it was all done in the interest of trying to keep everything on a level playing field. It'll be interesting in the next few months to see if anyone pushes through on this or not.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're just talking about it from a sports perspective. You wonder about certain businesses around not only our city, our state, but around our country and the world. If they will say, hey, if you want to come back into the office, you have to do this. We're not going to fire you, but if you want to come work at the office again, you're gonna have to do this. Yeah, so you wonder what it's going to be like.
Kevin Kugler will join us in a few. It's the happy hour. We'll talk a little NCAA tournament, and a little bit later on, we've got some audio from Greg McDermott. He spoke about Gonzaga today. So all of that still ahead, including What You Say and Bet of the Day.
Let's go, Trae Young.
This is what I get. Wait, I can't wait till baseball's back so we can start betting on real sports.
Wow, what did you do yesterday?
You stupid NBA, NHL parlay, and guess what?
That's not my fault.
The stupid Phoenix Suns lost.
Did you just call hockey not a real sport?
No, hockey is a real sport.
I'm not thrilled with hockey right now either.
Yeah.
See, it's screwing Stibbs, it's screwing me.
I was going to say it's a bad sport. It's not a bad sport. I like
it's a great
hockey.
sport.
Just don't watch it.
But I'm done betting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you a pick, but
but you're done caring.
Thanks, Tibbs.
Yeah, now, right now in this moment, I'm
right now,
caring
this moment,
about
you decided.
that. Yeah.
1620 in the zone.